Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Good morning, actually. Today is November 25th. I wrote 24th, I need to change that. Today is November 25th, and this is the morning after the uh, what's his name? Darren Wilson verdict in regards to Mike Brown. And as it stands now, Darren Wilson was not indicted on any charges. He was let go. He was free. And that has caused a lot of pain for a lot of people because at the very least, he took the life of a young man, regardless if you want to call it murder, manslaughter, um, I guess it just boggles the mind that somebody could really get off. And then you think about all the stuff that came up. You think of all the things that had to happen prior to 108 days later. So not only was Mike Brown killed inside of Missouri, near St. Louis and Ferguson and Clayton, two other young men were killed. And unfortunately, another one, I believe, was in Chicago or Cleveland. So there's that aspect. And for those who know me, know that I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist. We have HAARP, HAARP, who decides to let's see if we can get a snowstorm. Let's try that out. And they cover this country in cold and snow, and it came over, and people, unfortunately, in Buffalo, New York, 70 inches of snow, and now they're worried about flood warnings. That's today. Also today, coming during the week of the verdict and Thanksgiving, is a nor'easter that's just all of a sudden decided to come. That's coming down from, was it from Maine down through for the holiday drama. What else were they throwing in there? Bill Cosby, and something that he's been dealing with for the last, I guess, 20 or so years. And wow, it's a travesty that ever happened to anybody. And I actually am a really big fan of Janice Dickerson. I don't know why, but she really, I can relate to her, especially when I was younger. But anyway, for her to come out and actually state as fact that, Bill Cosby did touch her as well, raped her, not touch her, excuse me, raped her as well. Just gives you pause to the people that we kind of look up to and support. And it's so interesting how last night and this morning, when everybody was so angry, they kept trying to feed the fire and fuel of is riot, and people were angry, and it's just all this utter chaos. They kept trying to let that be the main note, and it was kind of lost, the fact that Mike Brown's killer doesn't even have to go to court ever again, doesn't have to apologize ever. The company that stood behind him, which would be the police force, doesn't have to apologize, doesn't have to show any concern, doesn't have to give any type of condolence or anything in regard to this young man's life. And I couldn't sleep last night. I know I'm all over the place, but I really, and I apologize for my outfit, but again, I just woke up, but I feel it's so very necessary for me to get this off my chest. I really felt led this morning to do a reading. I felt really led to just kind of see what the universe, what the ancestors are saying, because, it's one thing to see it on TV. It's another thing to experience at a really deep level. When this first happened with Mike Brown, I was in tears for about a week. I was really, really depressed for about a week because my son, who's 15 years old, looks and talks like a grown ass man. He's only 15, but he talks like the Allstate guy, and he's about 6 foot. And if he doesn't smile, he could look intimidating for those who are afraid. And to think of my son on the street dead because somebody was just afraid of him, I don't know, it just hurts my soul. And then the fact that he was a young black man, and then the fact that even Rudy Giuliani, in all his pompousness, on national TV, having a conversation with Mike Tyson, states with complete and total disregard to anybody else's, like he'll never be black, got it. He'll never truly understand, got it. But he didn't even have the decency to just keep that to himself. And he was saying, it's because, black people, if they wouldn't kill each other, then we wouldn't have to be there. That's such an interesting concept, because if you think about the black people that kill black people are black people, and the white people that kill white people are white people. I mean, it's just black people kill black people, white people kill white people in general. And then for him to make it as though because we, and I'm stating this as an entire race, because we as a people kill each other or have killed each other, another race has to take it upon themselves to protect us. And their way of protecting us is killing us as well, poisoning us as well, keeping us caged as well, hurting us as well, making ridiculous statements on national TV. Have a great day, sweetheart. Get on national TV and continue to perpetuate the lie, the thought, the feeling that we as a people, as a black people, a people of color, can't control ourselves. Again, let's think about what's happening. If you just think of Ferguson, Missouri, where it's like predominantly black, with predominantly black issues, that's healthcare issues, that's job issues, that's family issues, that's health issues, that's life issues. Because as a people, black people, we have our own culture, regardless of whether or not people want to, encourage the unity of it all. And there is unity to a degree, but we have our own special, intricate way of life. If you think in regards to slavery prior to now, you don't have to go back far. In 1945, when they allowed black people to get into the military or whatnot, kind of to me was set the precedent for the union of sorts. But we all know up until yesterday, the echo and the feeling of us still not belonging is still very prevalent. I guess I'll get off my high horse or my whatever. I just want everybody to kind of just take a look at what's happening, and then see what keeps being perpetuated in the news and the everywhere. Even myself, me coming on here and talking about it, in a way, I'm perpetuating the thought that there needs to be a change. There needs to be there just needs to be a change. There has to be a change in consciousness. There needs to be a healing of some sort. I'm immediately brought to one of my favorite people of all time, which is Bob Marley, and he went around the world He went around the world to not only promote, I mean, technically himself and his music, but he promoted unity of all people. My favorite song from his is War. And he always, and then he talks about, it's going to be a war until we're not, the color of your skin has any bearing on who you are and what you do and why you are. And unfortunately, it's 2014. He was born in 1945. So he would be 69 years old this year, and he'll be a 70-year-old elder, and he would have to look back and see all the, everything that he truly fought for, disregarded in such a high, weird ass capacity. We get caught up in the dumbest things. And while I'm on my little high horse, I want to talk about healthcare. Every year, every day, people get diagnosed with the most cancers and weird ass diseases and all kind of stuff. And they keep raising the price of healthcare like it's a fucking it's furniture or something. These are people's lives. These are people's things. But it's so important for our it's so important for the HMOs and things to get money. It's so important for these doctors to get millions and millions of dollars to do what? Push pills? There's no more healing. We lost healing. Unfortunately, when you go to church, you might get prayed for, but it's still not about healing. It's not about that internal struggle. It's not about fixing what's really wrong. You think about what they want you to do in general with the media. It's all about seeking outside help. And it's never about turning it in. It's never about healing yourself. It's never about healing yourself. You got to go seek this person. You got to go seek that person. You got to go buy this. You got to go buy that. You got to go kill other people because they just look different. And it's never about, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I so angry? Why am I hurting? Why do I have stomach issues? Why do I have cancer? What am I not being real about? What am I not allowing myself to be or see or do? And that's why it keeps us sick. It keeps us sick because we're not able to be ourselves. You get looked down upon when you're yourself. And I'm not talking about famous people who do the most for ratings, or maybe that's just their way of fighting fame or whatever. But they don't talk about, it's time for healing. It's time for healing. And I know it doesn't even matter. It's time for healing. So I had a couple questions that I wrote down that I wanted to see what Spirit had to say. And before I begin, Divine Mother and Father God, good morning. And I thank you for this opportunity to sit here and have this conversation. And I pray for other people to have this conversation. But Divine, I ask for understanding, wisdom, and clarity. I ask that the questions that I ask really do have a concrete answer so that we as a country, we as the world can move forward. I really do thank you for this platform, and I pray that it does a whole lot of good for a whole lot of people. Divine Mother and Father God, I do ask that you word my mouth so that my ego takes a step back and, I could be a clear channel. These things I ask, and so it shall be. Okay. So my first question is in regards to the verdict of Darren Wilson. How should we move forward with the verdict of Darren Wilson's non-indictment? Yeah. How should we move forward? My Mother, Father God, how should we move forward? Cards. Okay, so 5 cards. The first card, wisdom, and this card, the first card, represents um, the entire question as a whole. And so my first card was wisdom. How should we move forward in wisdom with some mentorship? Actually, when I see that card, I think of a teacher, a mentor, something along that line. We really seek maybe even like a forum of just wise elders, not even 35-year-olds, like elders who've been there, done that, and seen what hasn't worked to move forward to do what does work. What I don't know, well, I think I do know, but I know personally my passion is ignited to make a change, but the whole world's passion needs to be ignited. And what we don't know, or what I don't know, is everybody wants a change. Everybody's kind of seeking that. That's pretty cool. What I do know, it's all about memories of love. It's about memories of other people been slain because they were just who they were, because they have a certain complexion, because they looked at somebody the wrong way, or because they started a business, they lived in a certain neighborhood, or whatever the reason is that they were slain. So it's all about paying respects to Mike Brown, paying respects to Trayvon Martin, paying respects to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the ones that, and I know I put all 4 of them together, but when you think about it, at the very end, there were young men killed because somebody else's hate, distrust, and fear. So let's honor them. How we should move forward is the choose wisely card. We do have a lot of choices. It's definitely not about riding. I never understood that concept. Why would you go inside of a store and steal something? I mean, unless you needed it, but like, how does that benefit anybody? To me, that doesn't make sense. But I understand rage and I understand anger. And specifically last night, like, what do you really do? I'm gonna get to one point. Okay, we move forward. And then lastly, the last card is the outcome is authority. I think it's just really taking authority of who we are. I think, not as a Black people, but as a people of this country, we just finally just take authority. And it can't be about big government or big business or big anything. I think we need to, once we get a mentor or teachers or elders to kind of come together and we, show respect. We show respect to the ones that have passed on. We show respect to our ancestors who are here, and they keep seeing the same crap over and over and over again. And I'm sure once we decide that it's nothing to be afraid of, because they loved us when they were alive, and they love us now that they're passed on, and they're closer to us now because they're passed on, their spirit, because energy never dies. Once we recognize who we are, and I think that's important. You have to recognize who you are. Who did you come from? What is your lineage? Yes, I know a lot of Black people, we don't know. We weren't given that option. People took it upon themselves to try to erase who we are. But we keep learning anyway, because the ancestors are here and they're trying to wake us all up. And that's white, black, purple, and green, because when we come into this world, we have so many ancestors running through us. Ain't nothing pure so much anymore, specifically in America. I mean, that just is what it is. So you can go back and deal with your African ancestor and realize that hate and that fear and all that ridiculousness has nothing to do with you, because I mean, really, I was in the Navy, and I know one thing for sure, it's one fight, one team, one fight. And that really should be across the board. They don't really teach that in any other capacity that I've recognized, but it should be one team, one fight. You kill somebody's son, you kill somebody's son, you kill somebody's daughter, the whole neighborhood should be upset. The whole neighborhood should be upset. You took somebody's baby. It takes a village to raise a child. If you haven't understood that concept, then you see where the problem lies. Like, how you go to parent-teacher conferences for your children, and what they're doing is they're telling you about your son or daughter, and then you're telling you about your son and daughter. You have a whole community of people gathering around trying to help you understand what's going on with your child and how they're trying to help you with your child. Why is that concept so hard to understand anywhere else? Why is that concept so hard to understand anywhere else? Okay, so let's take authority of ourselves and our feelings in regards to the verdict. That was the question. In regards to the verdict, choose wisely and take ownership of ourselves. Cry if you need to, yell if you need to, blog if you need to, vlog if you need to, protest if you need to, talk to your politicians if you need to, write a book if you need to, get it out of your system, but check with yourself, understand who you are, where you come from, and then do something about it. It's definitely not about looting. It's definitely not about hurting anybody, because the hurt has already been done. The hurt has already been done. And I really, okay, I'll just move forward. The city of Ferguson. Devon, what should the city of Ferguson do? Or what's an option for the city of Ferguson? 5 cards as well. What's the option of the city? Or what should the city of Ferguson do to start the healing process? Excuse me. Agreed. Okay, so the first card in this one is the Power card. You see that's wisdom and strength right there. But that's also honoring wisdom and strength. So the first is the city of Ferguson. So what should they do? Honor their wisdom and their strength. Okay, so they know what doesn't work. Okay, so they should move forward to what does work. What they don't know, there's a whole lot of discontent. I mean, they understand that Black people are angry, but I don't think even the presence of the white people that are there, because the media, they love to show one demographic very angry, but they never even took into consideration other than the newscasters of a different race. They never just decided to say, hey, Janet, hey, whoever, Brian, Bob, whoever. How do you really feel about your city going through this? How do you really feel about your police officers dealing with this? How do you feel about the prosecution? It's always one-sided. And I think that, and the other word on here is boredom. I think boredom does definitely play a big part in the city of Ferguson. They are bored with the everyday, just like I know here in Virginia Beach, every day I can definitely turn on the news stations here, and I can almost guarantee that in a Black neighborhood, somebody passed away, somebody was shot, somebody was hurt in some capacity. It's usually within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the news, which is why I try not to watch it as often. But on the other side of that, because, again, Black people are the minority, with the majority, those conversations are usually swept under, somebody passed away and we're on to the next thing, and because it was a killing. It was a killing in a Black neighborhood, and they make sure they show all the lights and people walking by. But they don't show every day like they show every day. They keep that perpetual lie going on that it's Black people, dead, death, drugs, dying, nothing, all that dark stuff. But it's never a balance. I think it's about balance. Okay, so what should they, or what do I do know about Ferguson, Missouri? They got a lot of spiritual strength there. The whole country has been praying, has been thinking, has been sending positive vibrations, has been asking God in all earnesty to fix it. So there's a powerful strength, spiritual strength in Ferguson, Missouri right now. Question, what should the city of Ferguson do? It's an interesting card. It's saying to rejoice in celebration. Let's celebrate the life. We are a country who, for whatever reason, mourns the death of someone. And, we're taught it from a young age. We're taught that as soon as somebody does a sad, sad occurrence, let's put on something really, really dark. Let's pray for rain, and let's be just depressed. It's never really about a celebration. It's not like, You made it. I mean, tragedy is tragedy. Somebody's life is taken. Somebody's life is taken. It does hurt. But maybe that's the difference. Maybe we should stop. I mean, who does that really serve? Who does it serve to hurt and be in mourning? I mean, think about it. I know in a lot of different, I mean, other than, and I have to say, like Catholicism or Christianity, and I'm really not sure, because Judaism, and I think in Islam, being a Muslim as well, I believe that it really is a solemn time. But then if you think about, Yoruba and the Native Americans and Hinduism and even Buddhism, when people pass on, it really is like a celebration of sorts. It is kind of like well, you made it to the stars, you made it, you crossed over to another place that's not any worse. Nobody's feeding you hell, and nobody's afraid of you. You're really, it's like, yay, and then they honor them. They burn candles, and they sometimes throw parades and parties. And I guess the whole thing, the card is celebrate, rejoice in celebration. Maybe let's just try to turn it around. Let's just celebrate his life. He was 18 years old. He made it through high school. They said he wouldn't do that. Let's be happy. I mean, and this is touchy. The card says rejoice in celebration. And it's also the 3 up there. So that's about communication. So again, maybe let's just rejoice in his life. I know rioting is not rejoicing in his life, destroying where he walked around and smiled and laughed and danced and maybe had his first kiss, maybe drove his first car, all that, destroying his neighborhood. That just doesn't make sense to me. But it could be about communicating how great he was, how funny he was, what music he liked. Everybody who's passed on, it's one thing to be really, really sad. And the one newscaster, Joy Reid, I believe her name, on MSNBC, she kept saying, the people that were left last night and after the wake of the prosecution's I'll call it a media blitz, where he decided to, those are people in despair. She kept using the word despair, despair, despair. And a lot of that did come from despair, because again, it's from anger. So if we could turn that around, and the last card is the outcome card, and that's about awareness. Just being aware of the effects of everybody's actions, from the government down to the student. Because today, of course, those children aren't going to school. Of course, there's people are afraid to probably go to work. They're angry to go to work. I do want to say a couple things. It keeps popping in my head. Last night, they waited until nightfall to I think they had to encourage a riot. There's no other reason they would wait until nightfall to tell the verdict. There's no reason, unless Darren had to get far, far away and they were just waiting for that to happen, or however, like the only benefit of what their decision to announce it at 8:30 at night would be to riot, because it'll be bright, the fires will be brighter. And they didn't even do all the stuff that they wanted them to do, because they really thought they were going to it's going to be a horrible day. And they really seem to want to, they provoked that. It's so weird. It's so weird. On the one side, it's like, no, don't be mad, don't be upset. We did all we could, but let me prolong this stupid ass statement. And we know that the news crew is there. Let's make sure every single news crew that's possible can be there and ready for this, because it took us 108 days to come to it anyway. And we totally went against everything, any other normal process for this lawsuit. Let me give you all the information that you're not even supposed to get until, as most people know, when you go to court, you start with the preliminaries and it moves, it progresses, and that's when more information comes in, and that's when, but they just decided to dump all this information on people who were supposedly chosen way back in March or something for this grand jury to meet at that time. It just was so backwards. It was just so backwards. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I had my children. It was me, my husband, and my children. We all watched the verdict live. Because we matter, because we matter. My children matter. What my children feel and think matter. And so we all sat there and watched it. And I watched my daughter with her eyes, downcast. And I said, what's good? And she's like, it's just so sad. And I said, well, why is it so sad? And she said, well, I mean, somebody died. I said, yeah, somebody did die. And that's okay. I said, well, no, it's not okay, but I guess that is what they're saying, that it is okay. And I look over at my son, and again, his eyes aren't downcast because he's looking at the screen, because they have that whole split screen going on. They got people, standing outside on one side, and this man who's so calm and fake smiling on the other side. And, Mar, what's good? And he was like, it's so interesting. It took them 108 days to give the decision that they already came up with 108 days ago. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's all about spreading it out, and again, at 8:30 at night, when people have to go to school and work the next day, you just really we just wonder about the minds of others. Okay, so the next one was, how should the country of America How should the country of America move forward as well? How should the country of America move forward as well? Divine Mother and Father God, how should the country of America move forward as well? Okay, so the first card was the intuition card. So I guess we all should really be, again, in our minds, thinking about ourselves and how this is affecting us, but, kind of also gauging what this means. What we don't know, our sacral chakra, this is where our passions lie. This is, let me verify that, because every time I see this sacral, it's my favorite color, orange, but there's something I want. Yeah, your passion. Emotions, desires, creativity, sexuality. Yeah, so what we're not paying attention to is really to our emotions and our desires. What are our true emotions and our desires? As a whole, what do we all want? What do you think is the best way to move forward? Ask yourself these questions. Get a real answer. Okay? This is what we do know. Now, this card was actually upside down, and I don't usually keep my cards upside down in any capacity. So for this to be upside down, to me, means a lot, in a sense that, the card is triumph, and if you move forward, we will be triumphant. But it also kind of talks on, we can stun ourselves. We can stun ourselves and stay stuck. Because and what I do know is we might be stuck. We're supposed to be moving forward, and we're supposed to be able to do it, but right now it's people are feeling stuck. Okay, the fourth card. What should we do? This is a mental conflict. Yeah, duh. Yeah, America is in a mental conflict. I mean, our individual mental conflicts to our neighbor's mental conflict, and us not even being on the same page at all, because we're based off of biases, isms, and distrust. Oh, and fear. It's more than a trifecta, so quad trifecta. I don't know if that is even a word. But mental conflict. I think we just have to face the mental conflict. I mean, it's about a decision. This card represents a decision, like a tug of war of sorts. And if you notice, there's two heads, like two brains, you know, being of two minds is the concept. We should really aspire to be of one mind, in the sense that this whole tearing apart doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the outcome is the shadow card. And that's recognizing your true self. That's recognizing, again, we're Americans. If you go to your oldest dictionary, find the oldest dictionary you can find, the definition of America, or American, is copper-colored, red-colored people of this land. And please recognize that we all have Native American, African American, white, black. I mean, we are all mixed here in America, whether from rape, love, decisions of the times. We are all a mess. We are all a mix of people. Recognize who you are. Recognize the hate has to stop. Recognize that you are, you know, that thing you fear, that thing that you know, despise is really, the thing you hate the most is usually because it's a part of you. That's just a fact. You know, somebody gets on your nerves because they're always asking and asking and asking. Well, maybe it's because you ask a lot of questions. Maybe it's something inside of you that you don't like. So with this whole fear thing, or this whole, you know, prejudice, racism shit stuff, recognize that it's, you know, because it's a part of you that you're just afraid of. It really is. Oh, that's my concept. That's my feeling. Okay, I know this is long. Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking, how should we heal? So let me get to the crux of why I'm doing this reading, or yeah, why I'm here. How to heal. Divine Mother and Father God, how do we heal? My cards is acting wonky, can't even check it. Divine Mother and Father, how do we heal? Like, how do we heal right this second? How do we heal right this second? How do we heal and deal with the effects of racism? How do we heal from this? How do we heal from this verdict? How do we heal from the plight that we're in? How do we heal? I mean, you gave us great insight on everything else, but I guess as the final reading, I would really love to know, how do we heal? How do we heal, Divine? 3 cards instead of 5. Divine, how do we heal? How do we heal from the pain? How do we heal? Okay. This is pretty cool. The 3 cards I got were harmony. You saw me shuffle. Authority. And obstacles and challenges. I want to deal with the more difficult card, and I guess that's the obstacles and challenges. I think, and it's a 5, so 5s all by itself is already challenges and issues, but it's also it's a struggle, but it's a lot of freedom in that, and it's a lot of freedom in facing our obstacles. One of our biggest obstacles is not even facing what's wrong. I can't tell you how many times on my Audie Rose Wisdom Facebook page I have people who don't, of course, don't agree with my views. That goes without saying, because I'm a person, so not everybody's going to agree with me. But in regards to race relations, I had one young lady specifically tell me that she doesn't even see a color. When she sees me, she doesn't see a color. And Dr. Umar Johnson, he always talks about how when people say that, that's just so offensive. How do you not see a color? I'm brown. I'm a brown, copper-colored woman with short black hair, dark brown eyes, black eyebrows. Like, that's who I am. It's not fake. That's really who I am. I'm not clear. I don't have polka dots. I'm not white. I'm not green. I'm not pink. I'm brown. If I was a crayon and if you were to rub my skin on paper, it would come out brown. So it's all about recognizing who we are, who I am, who you are, why you exist, why you even put on this, what's your purpose in life? And it's okay to do that, but I think it's all about facing the obstacles and challenges. Yes, it's kind of scary. Yes, it's kind of scary when you say, hey, friend, why do you feel the way you feel? And then to listen, that's hard. And then to shut up, and then to assess what they feel, and then you have to assess how you feel. And then it's about that communication. And sometimes you can agree to disagree, and sometimes you can agree to agree. But that's the beauty of facing a challenge. That's the beauty of moving forward. Because if you don't even face it, that means you're stuck, and you're just going, well, I'm just gonna let it go because I'm afraid. Okay. The second card was authority. How do we heal? Authority. I still believe with all my heart, and it's on my heart, and it's in my head to really state taking ownership and authority of yourself. It's ownership of your feelings. It's ownership of why you feel the way you feel. And I'm drawn to his arms, and they're standing firm. They're secure. Being secure. How do you heal? How do you heal? Maybe it's just really being secure and knowing that you will heal, knowing that you will get through it. We don't talk about that. It's always about one day we shall, it will. No, how about we just say, no, right today. We have the foundation for it, because I do have friends and family of all cultures, not creatures, but of all cultures that are in my life. And I recognize that the stuff that they put on the media and the stuff they put in the newspaper, and I know all the, I recognize what's false and what's true. I know what they say, and I know what I see, and I know what I hear, and I know what I feel. And I don't have to be told by anybody, because it's not anything outside of me anyway. It's within me. I'm allowed to love who I want to love. I'm allowed to be friends with who I want to be friends with. I'm allowed to heal. I'm allowed to be okay with you because you're white, and you because you're black, and you because you're from Israel, and you because you're from Asia, and you because you are my friend. It's okay. Have the foundation. And last but definitely not least is harmony. Just recognize we are all put on this planet for each other. We are not islands all by ourselves. It's so interesting, specifically during this time, and I apologize for these jets. It's so interesting that specifically during this time of the year, November through January, this is a time of family, because it's Thanksgiving and Christmas and the equinox and Saturnella and any other religion, Hanukkah, all those things during this time of the year are all kind of geared toward family and loved ones and giving. Okay, with that concept in mind, this is also the biggest time for suicides and loss and theft. And, this is one of the times where the power companies turn off most of your, if you don't pay your bill, specifically during this time, they don't believe in none of them spiritual gift giving times. It's turning off your gas, water, electric. During this time, people are always doing, big drives for coats and stuff for people who are in need and stuff. But then those same people are, they get the stuff, but then it's like, oh, the downtrodden and this. When we all know we all need help. Every single one of us needs help. Not one of us is, you know, individual enough to just be the island. And those people who are the islands of themselves or for themselves or by themselves are the ones that suffer the most, because they ain't got no friends, they ain't got nobody to share their joy with, they ain't got nobody to share their money with, they ain't got share, they suffer. Again, we were all made for each other. We were all made for each other. We all have eyes to look out to help each other. We have hands to help out to help each other. We have our own minds so that we can think about what we need to do within ourselves. You know, again, it's not about, you know, really, oh, this is going to hurt so many people. It's not about Jesus, you know, because what Jesus even said in the Bible is, you know, it's he who lives within me, which made him, you know, people consider Jesus God. Okay. So the God that lives within me makes me God then too. Because I know when God speaks to me, he's not talking to nobody else. He's talking to me. She's talking to me. They're talking to me. The ancestors are talking to me, to me, to me. You know, so if we want to follow like Jesus, you know, because Jesus is my brother. Okay. He says the only thing we have to follow is love. You know, the only law is love. Across the board, on every religion, it's the same thing. It's all about love. It's all about love. It's all about harmony. We were all made for each other. We all have a purpose, but we were made for each other. Because what I do affects how he, she, they, we, how everybody, you know, it is a ripple effect. So we were all here for each other. We weren't here to hate each other. We weren't supposed to compare and contrast and compete. I mean, I'm not sure where that even came from, where, you know, I'm better than he's better than she's better than we are better. Because at the end of the day, when you keep negating stuff, you're making yourself smaller. If everything was itemized, if everything was hair color, skin color, eye color, height, weight, if everything was just condensed and then you're inside this little ass box doing nothing, just in a little ass box. Hey, how can you give back if you've been shrunk to, you know, this being? Okay, so you're white and you're 6'2" and you work with your hands and you're this, and you live in this little tiny box. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Even the biases within religions, it doesn't work. This is what war is about. This is what fear is about. This is what non-change is about. Let me go over there and change you because you're different. No, you're different because you're supposed to be different. And what you do shouldn't affect me in that capacity. Who you pray to should not affect me. What your talent is shouldn't affect me, because I have my own talent and I have my own religious views. And I don't even like using the word religion, because it's all about being spiritual. Again, that's all about being a box. You got to work in this place. You got to live in this place. You got to drive this. You got to wear this. Whose fucking rules are these? And when will we recognize they don't even work? We were made for each other, not to hurt one another, not to steal from one another, not to take from one another, corporations. We're not here to poison one another. We're not here to rape one another, a food industry. We're not here to negate other people and put other people above everybody else, media industry. We're here to love one another and care about another and take care of each other, religious industry. These weird industry complexes have done nothing but destroy, condemn, vilify, incarcerate. You name it. You name it. You name it. It exists. All in the name of being different. All in the name of putting each other inside of some weird ass box that we don't belong in. We are divinely and beautifully made. We are strong. We are intelligent. We are excitable. We are loving. We are caring across the board. Across the board. You know, TV is wonderful. The internet is wonderful. I mean, there's always a drawback, but it's not there to set the precedence. It's not, you know, the TV should not dictate how you should feel. The internet should not dictate how you should. All those things should complement your life. You should be able to turn on the TV and see something that complements who you are, in the sense of, let's go with HGTV. Pardon me, excuse me. On my website, just putting a little plug in, I feng shuied my house, like my entire house, from my bedroom, my kid's bedroom, and my main floor downstairs. I feng shuied everything. I changed the look and feel of my house because I wanted to change. So HGTV, I was able to look at it as a compliment, because my intention was to find something on TV to give me some inspiration to change some stuff in my house. It complemented what I wanted to do. My daughter, she loves to cook. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up. And so to complement what she wants to do, she went to the Food Network and she found a couple recipes, or she saw them on TV because they came right on time. And when she saw it, it complemented what she wanted to do. It's a travesty that the majority of the stuff that's on TV is dramatic, has a lot of ill will in it. It's fear-based. I just think that maybe it's an overhaul of our media. Maybe just an overhaul of how we do things in general. But the main thing, and to answer the question, was what Spirit gave me, was harmony, authority, and obstacles and challenges. I think I said everything I wanted to say. This is going as my my weekly insight. I do want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. Over in Europe, they have something similar where it's just a time where they do Poppy Day, something like that. Maybe not this week. Point is, you know, this is just a time where we're supposed to give back, but the powers that be have an agenda of their own, and whether it's race relations, weather relations, government relations, it's always some drama. So let's decide not to be filled with drama this week. I also want to just plug, me and my family plan on giving to the Samaritan House, and what they do is they take care of the homeless. Because last week was Homelessness Week, and I'm not sure if you guys knew that, but last week was Homelessness Week, and there's a lot of homeless people in the world, but primarily in America. Unfortunately, one of the highest growing populations of homeless people are women, specifically veteran women. And shipmates, of course, I appreciate your service because I know it. I've been there. I've been there with you. And I do know, I understand, but maybe it's time for us all to be able to go back home. Maybe it's time for all of us to kind of be home with ourselves. Samaritan House. Please, there's a whole lot of places that really need assistance right now. And because you're thankful for your life, give thanks for somebody else's life. So I'm urging all of us all to give in some capacity. You know, I'm a big fan of Salvation Army in general and the Goodwill. I mean, I love thrift stores because they just make sense. There's no reason to buy anything that costs. I love thrift stores. And I'm telling you all that so that maybe that's one way you can support. Maybe you just need something new for your table, or maybe you need a new picture for your wall or something. Go check out the Salvation Army or Goodwill. And that's one good way of giving back. Work in the soup kitchen, not just on Thursday. I mean, my son said, we're going to go on Thursday. Wouldn't that be enough? And how much food can you give on that day that's not going to go bad? And who really wants to eat all those canned goods, sodium-filled stuff that, you know, that just sits on the shelves for years and years and years. Everybody deserves a good meal. Everybody. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm not all over the place. My focus is my pain, but my purpose is to make a difference. And I would love to see a change in this world. I would love a healing to be in this world. But Marley, he sits in my fame section, and I'm looking right at this young man in this picture, and it's actually it's a picture of his last concert at Stanley Theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on September 23rd, 1980. It's one of those, you know, concert posters. And I'm looking at a man who, for majority of his life, even when he was younger, he wasn't accepted because he was too light. You know, it's half caste, as he said. And so as a light-skinned person, he just had to struggle. It's interesting that during that time, America looked at him and said, oh, I like how he looks and I love his hair. And then if you listen to his words, he has nothing but positivity just oozing from his body. So because he cared about the masses, the universe, and that's all he wanted, all of us to just, again, love one another. My favorite, I can't put any Bob Marley on because I have to pay copyright of some sort. So go ahead and go on YouTube and just listen to some Bob Marley, specifically War, the live version, or Three Little Birds. Everybody knows that song. I want better for my children. I want better for myself. And I do want to wake up. Not that I'm supposed to see nothing but sunshines and butterflies, because struggles do make you stronger. You know, in order to become a diamond, you have to go through you got to go through it. But as a country, we've gone through enough. I mean, I don't even know if it's about policies. I don't know. I think it just needs an overhaul. Just like I overhauled my house to make a change. It was hard work, a lot of sweat, some tears, because I cut myself. My son cut himself. Dirt, things you didn't know that were hidden, come to life. Yeah, that shit is real. But at the end of the day, guess what? I get to go inside of my living room and just, this is my home. I'm proud of my home. Let's be proud of our home. Let's be proud of America again. The fuck are we proud of? Because we know how to hate the best? The fuck are we proud of? Because our rich or hella rich? The fuck are we proud of? Because we have celebrities that are celebrities? Let's be proud of, because we learned how to say sorry, because we learned how to give back, because we learned how to love ourselves. That is something to be so proud of. Okay, I think I have said all that I can say. Write me. Go to my website. Email me. Audie@audierose.com. My website is audierose.com. I'm on Facebook, Audie Rose Wisdom. Me and my husband share a page, Autumn Bows or Audie Bows, Audie and Ken Bows. I'm a human just like you are. I have a voice just like you do. I really suggest it's time for us all to just kind of be okay with being who we are, saying what we need to say, not in hate, but in a whole lot of love. You know, I get on this screen once a week or so to kind of give back, to kind of give the world a little peace of mind. You know, some people go to church for it, some people read books for it. I decided to pull cards for it. And at the end of the day, it's all the same thing, because God is just that good. You guys keep putting God in this box And then stop fucking wishing bad on me because I don't follow because I don't follow a certain regime anymore. Stop wishing bad on me. It's all going to come back on you anyway. But I need for you to understand that my love for God supersedes your hate for me, or your hate, your dislike for what I do. Because at the end of the day, we're both doing the same thing. You talk to God in your way, I talk to God in my way. You have to love me for it. I'm not out to hurt you. I'm out to help you. I am out to help you. I don't live in a mansion. I live in a townhouse with plumbing issues and electrical issues. And I have children. So I got teenager issues and I have husband issues because I'm a human fucking being. I love you just like you love me. I love you just because you're you. That's how I'm built. I'm empathic. You know, I feel things and I care. That's just who I am. I'm a Virgo. I have to, you know, research, but I care and I'm grounded. And I have a Scorpio moon, so I like to get to the nitty gritty of stuff, which makes me a really well-rounded person. I'm a well-rounded person. I'm highly intelligent. Most of you who watch me have known me most of my life. And for you to turn on me, I don't know what's wrong. It's not about hate. It's about love, and it's about acceptance. I can't be a robot, and I can't be a duplicate of you, and I can't be a duplicate of anybody else because God made me me. I'm uniquely and divinely and specifically made for me to do my purpose in life, just like you are. So how dare you? I'm not taking lives. I'm not poisoning. I'm not hurting. I'm not killing. And if you're not, be proud of that too. Harmony, authority, obstacles, and challenges. Face them. Honor them. I'm done. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. See you next week. Peace.